lighting sword. Yeah. Where we going? Alright, we're going here. Hello people, how you doing? Hope you've all had a good day and a good week. We're only on Tuesday. Hope you're making massive strides, whatever you're doing. If your week hasn't gone to plan, pick yourself up, get a good night's rest, go again tomorrow, hit it hard. Right, going straight in on this one. Hope you can all join me live. If not, catch up later on my new YouTube channel. Right, so the question I've posed in my kind of tagline, the number one qualification I think everyone should have. Evening Karim, how you doing? We meeting up tomorrow? Down at Isaac's. Be good to meet up, socialise, catch up in the week. So yeah, the number one qualification I feel that everyone should have. This should be taught in primary schools, nursery, Key Stage 3, Key Stage 4, mock exam, GCSEs, diplomas, BTECs, MVQs, degrees. Alright, I'm going to give you a little clue. Do you remember being back in primary school, high school, secondary school, and your teacher asking you, what did you want to be when you grew up? What do you want to be when you grow up? And nice, Karim, I'll see you there tomorrow. Karim, what did you want to be when you did your teacher ask you that? What did you want to be when you grow up? For me, number one, for most boys, I wanted to be a footballer. I wanted to be John Barnes. That was it, end of. Number two, I can't quite remember the reason for this one. I wanted to be an electrician. I don't know why. I think my practical mind was there from an early age. I think cutting costs to get electricians to repair things. I actually electrocuted myself when I was a teenager, but I think that dream died before that. Yeah, so number one, footballer and electrician. And then the kind of next thing I remember, kind of milestone about what I want to do with myself was a careers advisor, really, and careers books, what have you. But yeah, that's kind of clue around that. And this is something I've read today via Josh Saunders. Thank you, Josh, for the inspiration. And I've heard this question before. And Karim wanted to be a bank manager. Then I changed to a language translator. Laugh out loud. Bank manager. I got that. I'm guessing that's something to do with having control, power, money. You must have been a fierce competitor on Monopoly, Karim. I'm going to give the game away. But yeah, my qualification I want to see in every establishment is I want to see a Key Stage 3. I want to see a GCSE in attitude. Yes, attitude. And the exam, for all those people who don't like exams, is going to be one question. One question only. And that question is, if you knew you could not fail, what would you do? If you knew you could not fail, what would you do? And that's it. And that's the question. At some point, my two young boys, I've got a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old. If I don't teach them anything else practically wise, I want them to have that drilled in their head. Evening, Nana, how you doing, brother? I'm talking about a new GCSE, a new qualification I want to get on the curriculum. I want a GCSE, I want a diploma, I want a BTEC, whatever you want to call it, O level, A level. I want to see one in attitude. One question, exam. What would you do if you could not fail? That's it. I think that question doesn't get asked enough at a young enough age. I think, yeah, if we're asking these questions of our children and continually asking them and setting their dreams, what would you do if you could not fail? If money wasn't an object, if skills wasn't an object, if resources wasn't an object, if age wasn't an object, if race wasn't an object, I could go on and on. What would you do? To throw in there, Nana's a big campaign, disability. If disability wasn't I've lost my train of thought, wasn't a barrier, or your unique ability, as Nana puts it so nicely, what would you do? and just to get the mind thinking. If we all thought on that daily, instead of thinking what we can't do or what our parents said we can't do, or the backgrounds that we've come from, the houses that we grew up in, the areas, the classes, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? We see some life changing, we see some game changers and changes in the world, and that would be my question on the exam. It would be a half a day exam. It's a half a day exam, with a number of breaks, because I would want people to really, really, really think about it and drill down in it. GCSE and attitude, encouraging people to think, encouraging people to be creative, to see things that are not there already, such as what we got, the iPhone, the Dyson, the light bulb. All those things were seen in someone's mind before we saw them. The jobs that will be created in 10 years' time are not in existence right now. The jobs that are here around the internet, social media managers, web designers, they were not around 10, 15 years ago. Someone had that vision in their mind. I believe the internet is 25 years old today or something like that. I think Tim Berners-Lee, an Englishman, came up with the web, and all the web is really, before you jump up and down IT geeks and that, yeah, I know there's a lot of technicalities to it, but all it is just a connecting. It's just connecting people. That's all it is. The World Wide Web. What is a web? It's the intricate connection of silk fibers. I know I'm probably not right on that, but anyway, you get what I'm saying. It's just a connection. I'm connecting to potentially the world if they're on Facebook. Obviously not the world's watching now, but from my house in Ipswich in England, through the power of the technology of a mobile phone, I'm just connecting, and that's all the internet. That's all the internet is. But someone had that vision. And look how it's evolved now. When something evolves to something that you can't imagine what your life is like without, that's an achievement. That's an achievement. Some people don't remember what it used to be like without a mobile phone. It used to be payphone. Yeah, who remembers a payphone? Walking from miles to try and find a payphone, and you use your little 20p and it'd be gone, whatever you. Who remembers a red telephone box? I'm showing my age a little bit now, but anyway, moving on swiftly. So yeah, attitude. I'd love to see qualification in attitude. Teaching people how to think creatively. Teaching people how not to be defined by other people's perceptions of them. Their perception of themselves. Teaching people that anything is possible. Anything is possible. Reach for the moon. If you don't hit the moon, you may reach the stars. You may fail spectacularly, but we only have one life. And the thing is, in case you haven't realised, we all not getting out alive. Yes, even you with lots of money, your big house and fancy car, you ain't getting out alive. None of us are. Me as a Christian, I believe in a life after this earth. Some people, other faiths, have different beliefs. Some people have no faith to that below, but essentially, this life, we're not getting out alive. So what we're going to do with it? We've learned this is not the practice. This is not the mock exam. This is a real thing. So, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? And just use that for those who are not used to thinking in that way, who haven't been taught how to think in that way, have been conditioned not to think in that way. Just ask yourself that every day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Hi, Agnesia. Hope I pronounced your name correctly. Thank you for joining. I'm talking about bringing out a qualification in attitude, the mindset. With a one-question exam, what would you do if you could not fail? From age, whenever a child is ready to understand, from age 2, 3 to there's no limit on the age. I want to see this in nurseries, in preschools, in primary schools, secondary schools. I want this to be on the curriculum. I want teachers to be teaching our young people about how to think, how to have a positive attitude, how to have an attitude when things are not always hunky-dory. For me, this week has been a little bit flat as such. It hasn't been. I'm into my Facebook lives now. The kind of little buzz has gone, and still I'm enjoying them, getting great comments. Kind of like it's kind of like been routine. I do get a buzz when I'm creating, thinking of stuff to talk about. Um, and for me, observing myself, when I start doing something new, that buzz is there. Um, and then when that buzz is gone, my why hasn't been strong enough. So often I leave it, leave it, and move on to something else. Whereas now it's different. These Facebook lives, I'm hoping to make a difference in someone's life. So although the initial buzz is gone, as such, I'm still, that fire is in me to carry on doing this because I've got a strong purpose and I've got a strong why. So you don't, for me anyway, I'm only talking personally. Some people are different, but I don't watch those people who always seem to be happy all the time and that, because life hits you, man. Life is rough at times. It says in the Bible there will be trouble in this world, yeah. And there's people going through some deep stuff right now. So life is not all a bed of roses, but what keeps you going, what keeps you fueling through the highs and the lows, what keeps you going when you don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning? What is it that drives you? So yeah, I'm not thinking at the top of the world, 100% tiredness, whatever you want to call it, but I'm still determined to do my Facebook Live because the potential I have to share some seeds of wisdom, to share some nuggets that people can take away. So that's what you're going to see me around here for a little while yet to come, whether I'm feeling on top of the world or not. And that all goes around your attitude. How do you deal with disappointment in your life? How do you deal with going to achieve something and failing? These are all things that were not present in my general state education. Far from it. I was just taught how to pass exams, how to revise, to pass an exam, to to teach me stuff that 95% of it I'm not gonna I don't use. I've never been asked to show my GCSE qualifications. The only time I was asked is when I went to college, which was in the education system. Real life, jobs, what have you, I've never ever been asked. Draw your own conclusions from that. But I'm big on attitude. I'm big on the mindset and what have you. Just because that was lacking, is it a coincidence that most of the prime ministers we see, who seem to be very confident public speaking, who seem to be very confident, if they're not, know how to show themselves to be confident. Majority of them come from a private sector education. Now I haven't been exposed to that, so I'm only going from what I see or observe. But I'm guessing, and I'm fairly sure I'm right. They're getting a very different education to the general state education. Probably smaller classes, probably teaching about a wide variety of subjects, life skills, or what have you. But I'll be very surprised if not near the top of it. It's just teaching them how to achieve, how to go for greatness, how to go, how to be a high achiever. Your mindset. Yeah, David Cameron's recently resigned. He's probably going to be he's probably going to be more busier than ever. His options are unlimited to him. Being a prime minister, yeah, but it was so easy to throw stones at him, and I'm not his biggest fan, I admit that. But people posting mad comments. I'm gonna come back to them, man, because you're posting some really good stuff. I'm in my flow at the moment. Um, but I was in my flow. I've lost it. Um, yeah, David Cameron. Yeah, that's a prime minister is not a job you just think, yeah, I'm going to be a prime minister and just go about it quietly. You're there to be shot at. No, you're not going to please everyone in the slightest. You've got to be very set in your mind. Whether people do it because they're power hungry or they've got a genuine desire to serve their country is a different matter. But you're going to get criticism. You're going to get fired at from all shots and corners. You're never going to be able to do everything right. No one is going to be happy. Not everyone is going to be happy, rather. But why do they do that? Because they think they've got it within them to make that change, to make that difference. How many other prime ministers are coming from the state education system? Why is that? Why is that? We need to get more practical, soft skills in our schools. Warren Ryan, last Sunday, historical moment. I wasn't there. I would have loved to have been there. Historical moment. He presented the Youth Speaking Academy. Young people speaking without fear. there's no reason why public speaking should be a fear. Probably the main reason it's a fear is because it's the unknown. The majority are not doing it. It's just a minority. It's a minority. This thing I'm doing on Facebook Live. My son, my eldest son, he picks up a phone. He's got I've got hundreds of videos of him being recorded. He loves watching himself on camera. He loves it. It's nothing to him to see himself on camera. Me back in the day when we didn't have mobile phones and we'd had the old big old cameras and stuff. I used to obviously it was part of my consciousness or whatever, my shine as an introvert. I used to hate seeing myself on camera. Now I'm on Facebook Live. I'm looking directly at myself. Funny how things turn out. But see, my son is going to be nothing to him. This generation coming up is going to be nothing for them. Putting videos on themselves on YouTube or Snapchat or whatever, it's going to be nothing for them. So why should public speaking be an issue? If it's ingrained for them from a young age, how to address people in public, how to talk publicly, why should it be? Warren Ryan is that's a game changer right there. That's a game changer. That what he's doing should be in schools all across the land. All across the land. Financial literacy. A guy called Julian Hall, running a business called Ultra Kids, teaching entrepreneurship from those in year 6, year 5 and 6, teaching them about the mindset, the attitude, the skills of being a an entrepreneur. A coach recently told me that business is all about skills, and that those skills can be applied to pretty much any industry. This is why you got the entrepreneurs like the Dragons Den who apply themselves to numerous industries, and if they don't know anything, they don't know it. They employ people, they work with people who do know, because business is a set of skills. Yeah, public speaking is a skill. I'm doing public speaking on personal matters to me or whatever. I can apply it in business. I can apply it in my church. It's skills which are transferable. You hear this now. Transferable skills. Skills you want about in interviews nowadays. They do. I forgot the word of what they call it. But they don't ask you specific about the job. I can't remember. It's gone. Competency. That's it. Competency-based questions. They ask you about a time that you did something, a time where you showed leadership, because they want to see what skills you have that can be transferred into their job. It's all about transferable skills. If you can't manage your finances at home, how are you going to manage your finances for a multi-million-pound business? Yeah, we need to be equipped with these soft skills. For me, more so, if anything, with my son, I don't know when my time is up on this earth, but I just want my son to know. I want him to obviously learn about practical stuff, because I didn't have that with my dad, and it held me back. I'm here now, I'm doing my thing, but more so than anything, I just want my son to know. And if I don't tell him, then make sure one of you guys, if you ever get to see my children, you tell them that anything is possible, God willing. Anything is possible. Don't just focus on what you see around you. Focus what's in your mind and what other people haven't seen yet. Picture it vividly. My stepdaughter used to daydream like crazy at school, whatever. Who knows what's going on in her head? Who knows what she can bring? And she's a fantastic artist. Fantastic artist. She does a lot with nail varnish, and her mind is just on another level. Musicians, we all got a creative streak in us. It's just now it's taken me this time in this Facebook Lives to start unleashing this creative juice, which was stifled at school. I did art. I hated it. Fantastic shader. If it was just shading, I would have got A-star. But no, it's a bit more than that to art. Even my daughter doing her GCSEs art, she come up with these fantastic ideas, and the teacher will say, like, "Oh yeah, but you can't. That's not going to work for the GCSEs." And that's what is art is all supposed to be about: creativity, and you're stifling it to pass an exam. You know, I need to calm down, because whenever I start talking about education, I start getting on my soapbox, and again, that's why I know at some point I will be getting involved in education. I had an idea a few years ago about setting up an academy about with all these soft financial literacy, public speaking, mentoring, coaching, cooking, all these soft skills. But yeah, you could argue it's taught by our parents, but if our parents haven't been taught it, or our parents are busy working, trying to make ends meet in this Western world, they haven't got time to do it. They're sending the children to school. Why not send them to academy that's different to the norm? We would not have 30 students in the class. How can you teach 30 students? Goal setting as well is another one. But guys, you put in so many comments on. Thank you so much. I will come back and try and sweep through them. Um, I feel I've touched a nerve of some people in a good way. I'm sure there's hundreds of teachers out there got the passion to teachers to make such a massive difference in children's lives on the positive and the negative. I'm sure we all remember good teachers and we all remember the bad teachers. I don't necessarily think we remember the ones in between. It's kind of like that black or white. You remember the very good ones, you remember the not so good ones, and the rest get kind of lost. So teachers probably teachers spend most. We spend most of our time with teachers, probably then with our parents in our teenage, in our school years. So pay a massive impact on our lives. And I know there's teachers who are just being worn down by this. And I can only talk about the general state education system because that's all I know. And yes, I am generalising a lot. I realise that. But I think there is some truth and some value in what I'm saying. How can a teacher teach 30 children, individual children at a time? And if one or two of them start behaving badly, then my experience, I've been there, going into my daughter's school, becomes the subject becomes about behaviour management more than teaching. So teachers is not a job that you just think, oh, okay, I'll just happen to be a teacher. It's not kind of that's the way I say it. It's not a job you fall into. You may have been in another career, whatever, but those transferable skills you can transfer into a school setting. But it's not just something you just do willy nilly. Teaching is a tough job. And I'm sure there's thousands of teachers who've gone in with the right attitude. I want to make a difference in children's life, and the system has just worn them down. The league tables, the class sizes, the lack of being able to discipline the children saying human rights this, human rights that. All these pressures, the long working hours, the taking the homework home and marking them, and all those things must cause them to think, oh, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I want. My brother and his wife, my sister-in-law, moved over the other side of the world. One night they were both up marking papers when they should have been relaxing, and they thought, this is not what we signed up for. Now they're teaching at international school in the Middle East, living a fantastic life, making a real difference to children's life. And I bet that's times 1,000 of all these teachers coming. And I've got so much respect for teachers. They get such a hard ride from the government, the bosses to a degree, parents. I mean, I had my fair share of heated discussions with the school, but it was never a personal thing as a teacher. I was always trying to work alongside the teachers, but my daughter wasn't getting the support that she needed. So I would fight to get the support that she needed. And to me, she was given a raw deal. I was given a raw deal. I don't get the education that suited me. I'm a very hands-on person. I would have benefited so much from doing an apprenticeship. There was no apprenticeships at that time. Now they're starting to bring them back. People learn in different ways. There's not one size for one size, and that's for me. This general state education. Yes, you've got different streams, you've got different abilities, but it's a one-size-fits-all system. And for all the money we pay in taxes, we deserve better. Now you can get into all conspiracy theories about class systems, and I really touched on private state education system and blah blah blah. I'm not. That's for a different discussion. We can have that debate at a different time. But this general state education is broken, in my opinion. It's broken. It's broken. And people like Warren Ryan, people like Julian Hall, and I know there's countless others that I don't know about that are really striving. I mean, I'm just talking about. I can talk all day, but there's people putting this thing in action, making a difference, and the light needs to shine on them far more than me just rabbiting on about it. but I will at some point make my mark in the education world. I don't know how yet. I'm praying about it. Whether it's I set up my own academy or I work alongside people like Warren and Julian and X and other people, and be an initializer, an instigator, should I say, and say to teachers who are in the state system unhappy, unfulfilled, say, look, this is a different way. This is what something you signed up for. This is a way to make difference, a real difference in people's lives. Come on board with me and jump on board with me. In some shape or form, I will get involved in the education world. It's not going to be as a teacher because I just couldn't cope with the rules and regulations that are unable to be disciplining the children, and that I'd end up getting sacked. So that's not. I know that's not the route for me. But in some shape or form, I will get involved because that's how passionately I feel about it, and it's not something. When people ask about your why and what's your passion, it's not necessarily a passion. It's just something that just gets me so angry that that's my fuel. That's my fire. To keep me going. See, attitude. That's what I was talking about. If anything else, with my son, I just want him to know that anything is possible. Anything is possible. Failure. There's nothing wrong with failing. Failing can be learning. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with failing. Sometimes learn more from failure than success. And and also try and encourage them to read a lot of autobiographies. We can learn so much from other people as well. Their high points, their low points, because it's real. It's a real life. It's not textbook. A plus B equals C. It might be A plus B equals B minus, and then I jump to Z, and then I jump to. That's life. Life is messy at times. But our attitude, our mind, we need to. That's everything. We need to protect this. There's people in your life who are messing around with your head. You need to get them out of your life, or you need to build yourself up to be so strong that you can just take it, but then push it out, and that's tricky. But we need to build up our mind. Hi Miracle, how you doing? I'm just ranting and raving. Now I'm talking about attitude. I'm talking about attitude. How I feel this should be ingrained in our state education system, even if there's a GCSE in attitude. Mindset, how you see yourself, how to deal with when you don't feel happy about yourself. I just feel that there's such a gap in the education system for attitude and building people up. For me, if the curriculum was 95% attitude, 5% theory, English and maths, I'd be happy with that. I'd be Hi Miracle. I'd be so much happier there. For me, it's kind of like it's too much swayed of all the theory stuff, less so the practical stuff. And I'm just shouting at people like Warren Ryan, people like Julian Hall, making a difference in the public speaking world, in the entrepreneurship world, now with young people, to try and break that cycle, so that these kids are equipped with the mindset and the practical tools. The theory can come later. They can employ someone who's got the theory. They can go on an online course. They can read books. A university is not the only way nowadays. There's probably going to be a bigger demand, or probably a market in online universities, audio books. There's so many different ways to learn now. It's not you go to school, your GCSEs, your college, and there are probably people thinking about stop talking like that, my children. No, it's not. It's an option. But it's not the only way. There's a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I remember the one thing that came out. I read from that. He talked about the previous ages. You had the Industrial Revolution. We are now in the information age. Information is the new currency. And me, I love information. I love reading books. I love audio books. I love watching fellow people's YouTube lives, educational stuff, public speakers, and all the rest of it. That's so cool. And you can learn so much. You can learn a language through audio, reading. the state system is not the only way. In some cases, I found more freedom in my life when I left the state education system and I started working and learned practical skills, learn how to about different personalities and different dynamics. How my perception of big businesses always getting things right and always being perfect has been shattered, because that is certainly not the case. And then that's the other thing: you don't have to be perfect in business to make profits, if that's your be all and end all. Hey Stephen, how you doing, man? I'm just talking about attitude. Stephen's the guy who knows all about attitude. He's a fellow public speaker who came on me on the journey on the Speakers Express webinar with Warren Ryan. Fantastic speaker. Check him out. Check out some of his live videos. He's a bit further down the road than I am in terms of his public speaking career, but I'm in my lane. I'm doing my Facebook Live. I've got my YouTube channel. Who knows what is yet to come. So although we're at different levels, I respect Stephen, and he's helped me out with tips and whatever. And that's the great thing about the group that we've been involved in. People at different levels of their career, but they fully endorse or fully support where we're all at, and definitely willing to give each other a helping hand. So yeah, there's not much more I can say about the subject. Attitude, people. And for those of us, and I've been talking about getting it in the education, for those of us who've been through the state education system, it's not too late. It's not too late to work in your attitude. There's so much resources out there: YouTube videos, Facebook Lives, audio books, go on Amazon, CDs. There's so much information. Create your own education, create your own curriculum, create your own. Just because it hasn't got a GCSE or A level before it, or grade it at the end of it. At the end of the day, a grade is just another person's perception on how they feel you did. There's no. Yes, you got different banding levels, but there's no. It's like a judge in a boxing match. And sometimes you get those judges that just one see things one way and one sees things completely the other way. Different perceptions. So there's no factual. Just because someone's got an A in maths, two people may get. I remember listening to someone telling me something. Two people may get an A in the same subject. One has got did consistently well in all the different areas of that exam. One person may have done fantastic in one or two areas, but bombed in the other. They both get the same grade. Who's got the better knowledge? So there's limitations on the grade system, and there's a whole history. I can't remember the guy who did it. It's a fascinating video. He goes into the whole history of grades, and he's talking about a different home education, and not using grades at all. More getting people to reflect of what they've done, the work they've done, what they've done well, what they could do better, what they can do next time. That more, I don't know what approach you would call it, rather than just the factual A, B, C, D the grade system. And I'm gonna finish this one because I told you, people. Once I get on education, I'll start getting going. Karim's experienced that first hand in person. Right, I'm gonna have a quick whiz through these comments. I will reply to them all in written form where appropriate. Let's have a look. And thank you guys for these comments. Let's have a look. Yeah, Karim saying difficulties in life. Schools need to change the curriculum. Quadratic equations aren't needed, for example, but social skills are needed. Yet social skills as well. Social skills. And I'm not just talking about your drama lessons. Yeah? Social skills. How do you approach difficult conversation? How do we agree to disagree? Debating. Oh, my granddad. My granddad, when we were teenagers, used to get us up. My granddad studied law. And he used to get us, when we used to go there on a weekend, and make us debate things, and pose a question to us, and then we'd have to debate it. Fantastic education right there. Some people say I took it too far and became far too argumentative, but we'll leave that for another time. Yeah, Agnesia, I said earlier about no one's ever asked me for my GCSE, physical proof of my GCSEs, unless, except when I went to college. Agnesia's saying nobody asked me either for my certificates. I can make it up, and nobody would care. We are the world changers. Unfortunately, there are people who are making these things up with the internet and all those resources. Yeah, we are the world changers, definitely, Agnesia. Kareem saying, I hear you, buddy. So true, Agnesia. David Cameron was perhaps weak. You see, this is the thing with these guys, yeah, and these people in the public sphere. We think they've got it all sorted. We think just because they come across confident and everything, they've got it sorted. Some of the time, I'm not saying everyone, some of them are supremely confident. Some of them are arrogant, but they have to be arrogant, I say, to protect themselves from all the negativity that's coming at them. Like, for example, imagine being a prime minister. Imagine being a prime minister. No, that's not going to be an easy ride. You're never going to achieve everything that you want to. You're gonna have so many people. You're gonna have people playing political game. You got to watch your back for people trying to stab you. You got to watch your. You're gonna watch the next person trying to take your job. And then you got to maintain a family and your friends and everything like that. So you got to build yourself up. You got to protect yourself. So if arrogance is one way of doing that, of thinking you're the best person for the job, and no one else can do it better than you, then maybe you can understand why they come across maybe sometimes as being arrogant. But some of these people are not arrogant. They just know how to not extrovert. They just know how to act extroverted, and that's what we're not taught in our schools. Even if we're feeling shy or introverted or whatever, how do you um, how do you work on becoming more extroverted when you need to be? So yeah, maybe David Cameron was perhaps weak. I don't know. I don't know. Agnesia, I was talking about Warren Ryan. He's done the first youth speaking academy. Our son, that Agnesia said he was. Oh, your son was speaking, Agnesia. That's one of the best things you could have done as a parent. One of the absolute best things you could have done. Be interesting to see how your son develops from that. I was talking about public speaking. Why is it such a feared thing? And they said it's mostly feared and known. Karim saying a big massive yes. Please keep this Facebook live, mate. Even if it's every other day, you're good. I can't wait for December, mate. Cool. Oh, Georgina Graham joined at some point. Hi, Georgina. Oh, you're a good teacher, mate. Let's do it. Make an impact. I was saying earlier about how we remember our teachers. Teachers play such a significant part in our lives. We probably spend more time with them than our parents in our teenage years, in our school years. And I was saying you usually remember the good ones, you usually remember the bad ones, but you don't really remember the ones in between. And Karim was saying, yeah, I remember my good and bad ones too. That's true. Teaching is challenging, so we really need a change in the subjects, more social skill lessons and balance in life. We need to look at changing it. What else we got? You don't know life until you get into the real world. Yeah, I was saying I did my GCSEs. I kind of messed around in college. My motivation wasn't there. My why wasn't strong enough, and I got into the working world quite early, and I learned so much. I never went to university. I didn't see the point of going to university when I didn't know what I wanted to do. Some people went to university because they didn't know what they wanted to do, so it was just drifting along. I learned so much from the working world, so much life education, university of life, as some people like to call it. You don't know life until you get to the real world outside education. So that is why they need to put it into the education system, so people are more prepared about life and won't make mistakes. I think we need to, yeah. I mean, I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid of making mistakes, but we need to make mistakes. We need to learn. We need to. That's another thing in schools. We need to be in a culture, in an environment, as well as attitude. It's about the culture, the environment that we're in. That it's okay to fail, and how do we learn from that? It's okay to give feedback to each other without any egos getting involved. That's another thing about school, about culture. What are the culture of our schools like? What are the culture of our schools like? Miracle says, this is very true. I've watched people who were once seen as talented at certain subjects, but because of his attitude and lack of motivation, he ended up doing not so well. Yeah, I think I did a video on this before about potential. People say, a common thing they say, this person hasn't fulfilled his potential. And why is that? Because the attitude was not at the same level as their potential. Often it's because the attitude is at a lower, the hunger, drive, you want to call it, the attitude is at a lower level than at the potential. It doesn't matter how potential you have. If your attitude is not near or close to or above that, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen.
and that's why you see some. I talk about football because it's one of my loves. You see what people might not class as a technically gifted or naturally gifted football player, but their attitude, their work ethic was just so on point. It just caused it's lifting them to achieve far more than if they just relied on their natural ability. So that's a great point, Miracle. Loving that point. Cool. This was not supposed to go along as for long as this, but when I talk about education, I just end up just going off on one, getting on my soapbox, and I've been doing this for so long now. That's why I said I will have, God willing, have a future somewhere in education because I've got this mentality. I've got this kind of saying to myself is it's okay to have a moan about things, but after a while, when you're moaning about the same things, you either shut up about it or do something about it. And I've done enough moaning, so at some point, God willing, in the very near future, I'll be doing something about it. And yeah, people, if you don't know who Warren Inspire Ryan is, Julian Hall, those are the two names that kind of come to mind in terms of these are people who are actually making a difference. These are the people who are not moaning just like me, they're actually doing something about it and making a change. Warren Ryan on speaking, the Youth Speaking Academy, but for us people who are not in the school system anymore, there's still opportunities. He does the Fearless Speaking Academy, and Julian Hall through Ultra Kids, and who knows, he might bring Ultra Adults out. I don't know. Julian, there's an idea. Um, yeah, just to kind of round things up and end things off. If I've been talking a lot about school systems or whatever, or what have you, if you've been through the school system and the university, and it's not over. There's still opportunities to you. There's no reason why you can't work on your attitude. The brain is a muscle. You need to exercise it. We don't exercise it, it gets wasted. So work on your attitude. I've already said about some of the resources that are out there. And another one I didn't even mention is talking to other people. Speak to other people who've got the attitude that you want to have, who've got the mindset that you would have had, who maybe have had it ingrained in them as children through their parents or their social circles or the people they hung around with. Network with them. Meetup.com, I've mentioned a few times, fantastic website for creating meetups, real life meetups with like-minded people who have the same subjects as you. If you can't find a subject, then create one of your own. Facebook groups, set up a Facebook group. Blogging, if something about passion about blogging, you'll find people will find you. People will be searching on the internet looking for these things. Create your friendship group. Doesn't just have to be the people around you, the people in your area. Create your friendship group. Create that like last few weeks. At my church, we've been getting together and we've been doing socialising, going to the pub, going for meals, going to cinema, and it's fantastic. Fellow Christians who are going through, and we don't just talk about the Bible, we don't just get around, sorry, great around and see you can preach the most Bible verses and that. We talk about real life stuff, we talk about random stuff, we talk about Olympics, sport, everyday stuff, but we all have a common bond together. And we've got different personalities, and we build each other up. We offer prayer to those who are in a low point in their life and need that building up. So whether or not you're a person of faith or not, you don't have to have faith to meet up with like-minded people. Find those people, if it's in your workplace and you, people you look up to, or whatever. Ask them for their time. Ask to take them out for lunch. Yeah. Do what it takes. Yeah, you're your own teacher now. You haven't got teachers telling you what you should learn and what you should do. So take responsibility for yourself. If you haven't got a good attitude, you want to work on it. If you can't, find someone who will help you. Yeah. If people are struggling, connect with me. I'll put you in touch. I'll find you someone that you can work with. Karim says this is really good, especially if anyone's going through anything challenging in their life. And that's another thing as well. If people are going through challenging stuff, we tend to shy away. We tend to back out. Everything's got to be perfect. And that it happens in church. It happens in church life. You don't see that person in church anymore. But that's when you need people even more. Exactly, Karim. Building people up. Building people up. So yeah, everyone on this video, everyone watching afterwards, get yourself a qualification in attitude. Ask yourself this one question: what would you do if you could not fail? What would you like to do if you could not fail? And take it from there. And let me know. Give me your feedback. Thank you all so much. This has been one of my most commented on Facebook Lives. It's been really engaging. It's lovely to see. It's love to see some people got the same passion as I do about this subject. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to go about getting involved in this field. And there's people out there. Big shout out to Warren Ryan for what he's done with the Youth Speaking Academy, history game changer. Julian Hall with the Ultra Kids, fantastic stuff. Keep it up. People making a real change. And Karim says, finally surround yourself with the right people. Absolutely, absolutely. Miracle, great question. Thank you. So, shout out to Josh Saunders. He gave me the inspiration for this Facebook Live, which has gone on longer than I planned. But hey, that's all good. People are engaging in this, and anyone watching later who's come in during the way, you can watch this on Facebook. But also, I'm going to be posting this on my YouTube channel. I've got a YouTube channel now where I post all my Facebook Lives. This is the 33rd one, I believe. So yeah, that'll be going on Facebook Live on YouTube shortly, and yeah, catch me again tomorrow. I don't know what yet I'm going to be talking about. Any suggestions? Anyone wants me to talk about anime? Karim, I haven't forgotten your relationship one. I know I keep saying this, but at some point I will do relationships one. That's kind of a biggie. So I've got to think about where I'm going to navigate my way through that. It may be more than one Facebook Live and that. But anyone's got any suggestions that they want me to speak on? This is unscripted stuff. I haven't had any public speaking training whatsoever. It's just I was very shy, very introverted growing up. Now I feel I've got more voice. Still introverted, but still got voice through these Facebook Lives and public speaking and perhaps in the future. So this is all stuff I've built up over the years, and I get inspired by different stuff. Like I say, this Facebook Live is based on something I read today. So yeah, always looking for new ideas, new inspiration to talk about, to add value, to be of use to someone on Facebook Live, YouTube, what have you. And please, yeah, share my videos. It'd be great. I know there's many people who will watch, who will come across this, who don't comment on that, or all those who just like it. It's fantastic to see. So I'm going to stop rabbiting on. Have a great night. I'll see you all tomorrow, and take care.